Hello, NCIDEA. My name is Ali, and I'm the founder and CEO of VoiceBox. VoiceBox is a voice-centered social media platform that's focusing on fixing the way we communicate with one another. We all have a voice, whether you're a student, a parent, or an influencer. The modern social media platforms we've been using over the last decade started out great, but now we're seeing severe red flags. We don't talk to one another anymore. And especially after COVID, we've seen the implications of what happens. I've interviewed students, I've interviewed teachers. As a coach from kids from 3 to 18, I've spoken to those parents. Over the last 3 years, I've found all this validation in proving the fact that we lost our social skills. We can't talk to one another anymore. People would rather send edited photos and reels and stay on For You pages than actually communicate with one another. And nowadays, when you use social media, how often are you actually communicating with your friends and family? Is liking a post on Instagram really communicating with them? What happened to the authenticity behind using the cell phone to call people and to talk to one another? When I studied abroad in Chester, England, I realized that so many different people were using WhatsApp. WhatsApp service was mainly the chatting section of it. And I noticed that so many bilingual students were using it from all over the world, from Brazil, Argentina, Mozambique, Taiwan, Spain, and even people back home in the United States. So when I came back to university my senior year, being on the soccer team, I remember hosting little bits of mixers and parties for people to come over and meet one another. I said, hey guys, come over, we're going to have the girls volleyball team and basketball team to come hang out and talk to one another, learn who else is on the other sports teams. As this was happening, I realized something really interesting. It looked like a fifth grade dance. All the boys were on one side, all the girls were on one side. And in my head, I was thinking, why are we not all just communicating with one another? You don't have to know anything about them. You don't have to have any expectations. You can just have a conversation. And I noticed that within just a 3-year gap from senior to freshman, that there was a giant disparity of how confident everyone felt to just communicate with one another. So when I was communicating with people that I met from abroad, we were using WhatsApp and we were sending voice memos. And one day I got a voice memo and it was said in a very Argentinian dialect. It was a very Argentinian tone of voice. It was the Argentinian accent of English. And I wondered, I was like, wow, I really heard how they were speaking to me. And if they would have texted me the same thing, it wouldn't have felt the same. I wouldn't have felt as connected. So I looked for an application on the phone that was an only voice social media platform. I couldn't find it. And in entrepreneurship and in business, if you want to use something but it doesn't exist, you create it. So that's where the inspiration of VoiceBox came from. And with VoiceBox, I hope to add something to the world in where we're able to use voice as the main medium of talking to one another. Thank you so much for hearing me out, NCIDEA, and I look forward to being a semifinalist.